the last game of the quarterfinals in New Orleans, Sugar Bowl, 8:45 Eastern kickoff, tentatively, probably later. Ugh. And it's Notre Dame versus Georgia. Notre Dame coming in as a 7 seed, Georgia as the 2 seed. Georgia is the 2-point favorite. Money has swung their way since Notre Dame opened up as a 1.5 point favorite. So money coming in on Georgia early. I think obviously just the respect factor that everybody has for Kirby Smart, for what Georgia has built over the years, the program they've built. Everybody's putting a heck of a lot of faith in him and that Georgia defense. And I just think like that it's a case where until Notre Dame proves it on a big stage like this, everyone's always going to have their doubts. And so when the Dogs opened up as Dogs, everyone said, yeah, let's jump on it.
Yeah. I mean, man, I think this is the two most physically imposing physical football teams in the country that are going to be clashing in the Big Easy New Year's night. And this will not be for the faint of heart. I think that I'm just interested to see, man, like, I know most years Notre Dame plays a significantly tougher schedule than what they played this year. I mean, they just haven't. Like, going up against a Kirby Smart Georgia team in a big game where you have obviously their full attention, championships are on the line type stuff, like really big game like this, it's just different, man. It just is. Ask Texas about it. When they got hit in the mouth, they thought they were ready in Austin. Then they got hit in the mouth, and they found out. And I'm not saying
Kirby's probably wishing they were underdogs in this game.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure, but they came out as underdogs, so he's probably selling that somehow or whatever. And they've got their backup quarterback plan. We'll get to that here in a minute. But I do think that how Notre Dame is built, Marcus Freeman, my favorite saying that I've said on like every episode of our podcast since he said it, that they want to come out and be violent is what they want to be. They'll have to be in this game. They will have to be as violent as they've ever been to win this game because Georgia's going to line up and test your will. And they're doing it with guys that are 300 plus pounds and 260 plus on the edges and that are running faster than your wide receivers. And they just got guys that other teams don't, man, along their defensive front. And they've got them in waves. So for me, it's that simple. Can Notre Dame, can they hold up and block Georgia's defensive front? Now, Mike Denbrock is one of the best offensive coordinators in college football. Obviously, if I'm Mike Denbrock, I'm taking a look at who would you, like on Georgia's schedule, would you say that Riley Leonard's most comparable comp would be Haynes King?
Yeah, I literally was going to talk about that Georgia Tech game.
Yeah. So Haynes King and that attack that you saw Brent Key and Georgia Tech do against Georgia in that game. And Kirby Smart's not stupid, guys. I mean, obviously, he's the best coach in college football. Like, I'm sure he knows that that's probably going to be at some point during this game, Notre Dame's going to go to the Georgia Tech well, and see if that type of game plan and that type of attack from the quarterback run position, like with Riley Leonard, can that work against this Georgia defense like it did against Georgia Tech? So how does that, the game within the game, the chess match between the coaches, is Georgia going to be ready for that? Can they stop it? And you can know that something like that's coming, but stopping it's a different thing. And on the flip side of that, though, dude, I mean, Georgia's played some really good teams, obviously, this year. They've got the top strength of schedule in college football. But overall, rushing attack from the quarterback position and the running back position, equally balanced, this is the best rushing attack they faced. I know Alabama with Jalen Milroe is a really good runner, and they had trouble with him. But at halftime, Kirby Smart made adjustments, and Milroe couldn't do anything running the football in the second half in that game.
That's actually not a bad comp right there either. I mean, Leonard's not as fast as Milroe, obviously, but when Crane was on our show, he talked about just the way Riley Leonard runs.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could do power runs with him around. I mean, I can't get that picture out of my mind either. Just Jalen Miller just taking quarterback sweeps around the right side and just bolting up the sideline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Georgia's had trouble with 3-headed attacks in the backfield for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, again, the Nick Saban, Kirby Smart defense, the kryptonite against it is a dual threat quarterback.
Mhm.
But here's the thing. Emphasis on dual threat. You can't just be a good runner. You literally have to be dual threat. Like, you have to make explosive plays in the passing game, because the odds of you in a big game going up against Kirby Smart's defense and you methodically moving the ball down the field, which Notre Dame loves to do, the 16-play, 13-play, long, sustaining drives where they just take your will. Again, if they can do that in this game, they're going to win. But the chances of that being true, I don't think that's – I got to see it to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I told you this in a text message weeks ago. I've yet to see a team, and if you want to fact check me on this after this, not you, but anybody out there, I've yet to see a team just line up in power formation type football like Notre Dame's going to do and just run the football down Kirby Smart's throat in a big game like this. You're going to have to be able to make plays in the passing game. So, can Riley Leonard create some plays in the passing game? And then number 2, can they force some turnovers against Gunnar Stockton and this Georgia offense? We've seen people all the time, man, when somebody goes down and another guy comes in, it elevates the play of everybody else around them. But, dude, make no mistake. Like, Texas is a great defense, and Gunnar Stockton, they came from behind to win that game with Gunnar Stockton at quarterback. So he's seen a good defense. But now you've got Al Golden, Marcus Freeman, and this incredible defensive, just minds together, and this really good defense for Notre Dame. I have weeks to prepare for you. I know Gunnar Stockton doesn't have a lot of tape, but still, they know who they're playing at the quarterback position with Stockton. And he's going to have his work cut out for him, man, against this Notre Dame. Just fascinating, dude. I think both of these defenses obviously are going to be able to control this game.
Yeah, I'd almost rather feel more comfortable with Carson Beck out there than Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah.
Because, Beck's a great quarterback, sure.
But he wants to throw the ball to you, the other team.
It's just the unknowns you face, too, with a guy who doesn't have a lot of tape out there like Stockton. So
and it seems like that team loves him, just his mentality.
Yeah. I mean, he's just like – Kirby almost thrives better with a quarterback like that and with a quarterback like Stetson Bennett, right, who's not going to be taking the limelight away from the rest of the team. That's the type of quarterback that Kirby just loves.
Yeah, he wants to run. He wants to run the football and play defense.
Yeah, yeah. So
speaking of that, ETN, he's healthy now. Frazier, dude, this is the healthiest that Georgia has been all year. And on the flip side of that, bro, you and I have talked about it all year. The Notre Dame injuries, man, are incredible, are insane.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah,
from a team to this level that's gotten this far, that has lost so many of their best players. I
think they've lost 3 captains to season-long injury.
Yeah, dude, and that's where we'll get to that here in a second. Go ahead.
Well, that's just. I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, there's no excuses. A program like Notre Dame can backfill, with not as talented players, but they have depth there. So it's just, if they get injuries during this game at those positions at D-line, and because we know Howard Cross is not 100% right now. Obviously, Riley Mills is out. Those are the 2 guys up front. Jack Kaiser at linebacker. If they get injuries at those positions, it's going to be tough to backfill during games. So, they're going to have to force, like you said, force Gunnar Stockton to make some mistakes. They're going to have to shut down ETN in the run game.
That's the key, man. That's the key right there for Notre Dame. The 2 things, they've got to be able to protect Leonard, and they've got to be able to slow down the Georgia running game and force – both teams obviously want to stop the run and force the other team's quarterback to beat you with their arm.
Yeah.
Which team has the quarterback that makes the least amount of mistakes and has the quarterback that can make plays in the passing game is going to win this game?
Yeah. Riley Leonard, I mean, he doesn't have to be a world beater, but you got to make just a couple plays here and there. Your wide receivers have to make a couple plays here and there. to get the ball down the field, to keep the defense honest, to open up those lanes for Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love.
Is Love healthy?
I don't know if anybody on Notre Dame is 100% healthy, so
Yeah,
he's going to play.
That's a good point.
That's for sure. He's going to play. They're all going to tough it out. This is a game where if you watch the IU game, they didn't run Riley Leonard a lot in that game.
Didn't have to.
And so, probably trying to, conserve his energy, keep him a little bit healthy because, they knew who was on deck. They knew they got to face Georgia. And this is a game where, if Leonard's got to carry it 20 times, he's got to carry it 20 times.
Dude, he's a dog and he's tough. Bro, he going to have to be tough in this one. He is going to take some licks in this game.
And this is a game where we've said it all year. Marcus Freeman does not shy. He doesn't care about if it's a big game or not. Like, he thrives in big games. It's the Marshalls and the Northern Illinois that he has trouble with. And they proved it on the road at A&M earlier this year. They've, Notre Dame has played Georgia, I think in 17 and 19. They were 1-point games. They were 6-point games. And those are some really good Georgia teams. Again, it was the same thing that happened in the first game of that series. Jake Fromm comes in, his first start in Notre Dame Stadium, and then, you know what happened. He wins the game and goes on to do great things at Georgia. And it's like, gosh, could this be the start of like the Gunnar Stockton era, right? And you just like wonder if this is going to be the launching point. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just going to be it's going to be tough. I mean, yeah, Georgia has faced a grueling schedule. They've faced some tough opponents. So yeah, it's going to be a good one.
It is, man. And all right, I'm gonna give a game pick here. If you are a fan of just pads popping, hard hitting, old school football, that's what you're going to get in this game. Again, these two teams are the most physical, violent football teams that we have in our sport, and they're clashing in the Big Easy. And I just think, man, that Notre Dame's plethora of injuries are going to catch up to them in this game against a team that is as good as Georgia. I think they're going to have trouble with Georgia's defensive front, just about everybody does. And I think that Gunnar Stockton will make enough plays. Georgia will have enough success on offense. It won't be pretty. They're not going to just light Notre Dame up offensively. I think it's going to be a low-scoring, hard-hitting, not for the faint of heart type of game. And I think Georgia wins around a one-possession game and they cover.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for. I was hoping Lance would pick Georgia. He picked A&M at the beginning of the year. We're just going to bookend it with losses for Lance to cover. I hope he puts $1,000 down on Georgia. So, no, I mean, obviously, I want Notre Dame to win. I think they can win. It's just going to be really, really tough. I mean, the injury to Riley Mills is really tough for them. They've been able to overcome all the other injuries throughout the season that have happened to some really good players, some All-Americans, but it's going to be tough for them. I'm not going to give a pick. I mean, I'm going to, hope Notre Dame wins the game, but it should be a fun one. I mean, it should be good. I mean, I think the way Marcus Freeman coaches, I think the way Notre Dame plays, I'd be really surprised, given how Georgia's played throughout the year too. I'd be surprised if they blow them out. And so, we'll see. We'll see if Georgia, did take those 3 weeks to rest up and take advantage of that. We'll see if Notre Dame playing against IU, 7 days ago, if they got, some momentum built up, built on some things on offense and on defense. So we'll see. It should be a good game.